I can see a few people in the room. Do use the chat box and say hello. Let us know where you're joining from. I will kick off as it's just 1 minute past. So thank you so much for joining us today. Today we will be running a Q&A session on the Young Caribbean Environmental Scientists of the Year competition. My name is Catherine and I'm from Macmillan, and I'm really excited today to be joined by our fantastic judging panel, Debbie Roberts, Dr. Claire Durant and Cavell Hilton. The session today will run for about 45 minutes and we will talk about the competition, running through some of the key information and what you need to do, how you can enter, the prizes we've got on offer, and then our lovely judges will talk some more about this and why the competition will have a positive impact not only on our students that take part, but the community and sort of raising awareness on a really important issue. And the judges will also be on hand to answer your questions about the competition and your projects that you're going to enter. So we'll sort of be taking turns to speak, and we will be pausing in between for the opportunity for questions, or you're very welcome to use the chat box in the bottom right to type your question. Or you can also turn your camera and microphone on, so there should be a little button somewhere on your screen for you to turn your camera and microphone on, but also feel free to just use the chat box wherever you're comfortable with. The session will be recorded, so don't worry if you think you've missed something and you want to refer back to it later. We will be sending the recording round afterwards, and we hope to answer as many of your questions as possible today, but if you don't get the chance to ask your question, please do contact us and we'll be happy to help. So don't worry if you don't get a chance today, or if you think of something afterwards, and we'll share our contact details at the end for you to do that. So without further ado, I will kick off. So as I said, we're joined by Debbie Roberts, who on my screen is above me, but she might be somewhere else on your screen, Cavell Hilton and Dr. Claire Durant. I will just start by introducing the competition and our sort of ideas and thinking behind it, and then I will pass on to the judges. So the competition we've launched as part of our 70th anniversary of publishing in the Caribbean, which we're celebrating this year. And really we've launched this to encourage scientists, young scientists across the Caribbean to get involved in taking action against climate change. And also by taking part, they'll develop lots of really important skills, not just scientific skills, but general skills as well, and also develop their knowledge on a really important issue that affects us all. So that was our thinking behind the competition. And what we've used as sort of a framework for the competition is the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal. One of the goals is called climate action, and we've used this as a basis for the competition. And Springer Nature, who Macmillan Education are part of, adopt these sustainable development goals. And so really we've used climate action as a framework for the competition. And what entrants need to do is research this sustainable development goal and then come up with a project or an idea as an individual or as a team to combat climate change and its impacts. And this could be to do with their school, community, or a local area in their country. And really the competition is school focused, so we're awarding the prizes on a class basis. But if you're not entering as part of the school, you're welcome to enter at home, as long as there's a coordinating parent. But we would adjust the prizes accordingly if that was the case. But so it is open to everyone, but really we want involvement from lots of schools too. But really, young people across the Caribbean are welcome to enter. In terms of eligibility, we are welcoming entries from teams of maximum 4 students plus 1 coordinating teacher from any year group from year 1 to year 11. And there's a primary and a secondary category. So there will be 1 winner and 1 runner-up from each category. To enter, you need to register a team first, which I will share the link to register a team after the session. And then once you've registered your team, you can send us your entry by email, and I'll send all of this information after the session. Requirements for each of the categories can be found on our website. I'm not going to go through those right now because frankly it's quite long and it's all on our website, and it's much clearer on there. And entries close on the 31st of March, which isn't that far away now. So please do send us your projects. And this really is just a brief introduction to the competition. But all of the details that I've just mentioned and a lot more, as well as the prizes that we have available and the terms and conditions, are all available on our website. And I will share the link to that after the session. So everything's on the website, and if you have any other queries, please feel free to use this session to ask, or do contact us. So that's a very brief introduction, but I will let the judges take over from me now. But I will pass over to Debbie in a second, but for now, does anybody have any questions? And hopefully, if you ask any questions, they will be answered in the next half an hour. Again, if you have any questions, please do use the chat box, or you should be able to turn your camera or your microphone on. And if there are no questions, I will pass over to Debbie Roberts.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. It's nice to be here with you all. So my role is to discuss really the judging criteria and how to access the competition. But before that, this is an opportunity not just to win some fabulous prizes, but also for our students to be involved in an extended scientific project or investigation. This, in my experience, is something that students rarely have an opportunity to actually engage with. And this is real science. This is how a real scientist works in the world. And it's a great opportunity for students to be involved in this, to realise that science is part of everyday life, and that they're not just people who wander around in white coats in laboratories. Science happens everywhere, in the classroom, out in the environment, and it's a really important point, because some of our students will be deciding at a really early age whether they actually want to pursue science as a career or as an extended education. And so it's a really valuable opportunity for students to be involved in real life science. In addition to that, it does raise awareness about the environmental issues that are around us globally. So it's got so many aspects to this competition, and it's not just about winning the prizes. And it is a competition. We know that if students are engaged in a competition, if they're being competitive, they will engage, they will become suddenly very interested, because there is a winner. And this is something that humans of all ages, can be really inspired by the fact that they can win. They might not be interested in the prize, I hope they are, but just that mentality of we won. So we've had to make some criteria, otherwise this would be difficult to engage with, and it would certainly be difficult to judge. So we've said that it would be in a group of 4. We do need a lead teacher. But if someone in the school is not in a teaching capacity, but they're an adult and they're working with students after school or in some kind of a club, for example, then this is open to them also. And as Catherine said, we will change the prizes accordingly if we have to. Our intention is that as many people, as many students are involved as possible, and we are willing to accommodate that. To such an extent that if you have any reservations about this, you might not be an environmental scientist, for example, you might not be a scientist at all, and you might be thinking, well, I don't know if I can really lead this, I don't know if I can lead a group of 4 students and to engage with this competition. Well, you can, because I'm offering, and I'm pretty sure the others, if they can, we will mentor you. We will actually support you in your project planning, your project implementation, and the final presentation. We are happy to support you and to build your confidence. So if you're looking at this after today and you think, well, I'm a little bit worried about that, or I'm not really sure if we could implement this, then just get in touch and we'll support you in every way that we possibly can. Because the ultimate end point is that you actually get engaged with this competition, and we'll do anything and everything that we can to support you with that. So basically, you've got to come up with some kind of project summary, an objective. What do you really want to achieve by this project? Again, you might not have many ideas. You might want to be engaged, and you might see all the principles of it and the outcomes and the objectives and be really, really enthusiastic about that, but just can't come up with anything for your area or your immediate country or your school or your community. And again, we can offer some support with that also. That would come into the mentoring aspect of this competition. So we're even happy to support you with that, to come up with some ideas. The judging panel were all experienced people. You know, I think I'm approaching well over 200 publications. So trust me, I will have an idea somewhere that you can implement in your area. It doesn't have to be expensive. We don't want you to come up with, well, we're going to put a wind turbine in. Well, that's great, but have you really got the funds to support that idea? And can you really make it sustainable? Can you really make sure that that wind turbine works and is properly maintained? Think about these aspects. If you're thinking about an outdoor area, can you really support that? Can you sustain it? If you've got lots of wooden planters and things like that, for example, these will need to be maintained, and we need to take that into account also. Think about the time frame. It's actually, if you're applying in March, you've not got a great deal of time to implement it, test it, and collect data on it. So make it realistic. It doesn't have to be expensive, and it doesn't have to be rocket science. I mean, if you can build a rocket and it's sustainable, and that's great, but don't set your sights too high because it'll be unachievable. You've got to be able to repeat this. So, you know, I'm famous for kitchen science. For me, if you can't afford to repeat it, don't do it. It's not proper science. So make it as achievable as possible. It doesn't have to be expensive, and it doesn't have to be huge. But you do need to be able to collect some data. As Catherine said, some research will definitely need to be involved. So we'll be using secondary data as well, which is fantastic scientific practice. The groups will then have to decide whether this will work. Does it need to be changed? Do we need a prototype? Do we need to amend it? All that is part of the presentation. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for the science behind it. We're looking for the resilience, the repeatability, the measurability, the precision, the accuracy, and the use of data. We also are looking for it to be creative. We want you to be original. We want you to be thinking outside the box. It might be something very simple, but it might be very creative and very different to other people's perception of an environmental project. So be brave. We'll be looking for that. Finally, the presentation. This criteria applies to both secondary and primary, but we're expecting a little bit more from secondary students than we are primary. but we do want to see a presentation at the end. We want the students to tell us what their vision was, how it went, and what they are going to do with it. And remembering that in science, we never get it wrong. We might not get the results that we were expecting. We might have something that's totally different to what we were looking for, but it's not wrong. And so if your prototype doesn't quite work, we're also looking for that. It's not the fact that it might not have gone according to plan. It's what we knew we needed to do about it in order to make it a worthwhile project. So they're the rough outline, and most importantly, please be brave and remember that we will support you. We want you to be involved in this. We don't want you to shy away from it or be worried. We want to support you so that the children, the students can be engaged in a really worthwhile project that's a real scientific project where skills, project work, group work, team leaders, resilience, communication, collaboration will all be developed by engaging in this. So you might be thinking, well, we're busy, we've got a curriculum to deliver. Everyone tells me this. We're still catching up. No idea who we're catching up to, but allegedly we are still catching up. But if you're thinking like that, just consider this. If you're following your curriculum and you're teaching it, A, the students actually learning it, and B, when will they have an opportunity to develop all these scientific skills in one place? And in my experience, because I know all of your curricula, the answer would be never, actually, never. You might be able to develop some of the skills, but not all of them, not like you will if you're involved in this. So I give you my word that I will support you. I want your students to be engaged and enjoy this and really get something life-changing from it, which it will be, because it's a one-off opportunity. Well, hopefully we'll do it again, but let's see. So if you've got any questions, I am more than happy with the other judges and Catherine to answer anything that we can now, or if that's raised something that you want to follow up after this session, then we're all more than happy to support you with this. So if you want to chat away and leave some questions for us, or you want to let us see your face and hear your voice, then please feel free. Now is the time to get as much information about this as possible. I know what it's like in a school. You'll click off this, someone will ask you to do something, and it will be gone. And you'll have moved on and done 1,000 things by the end of the day. So use the opportunity now to get all the information that you need, and let's get you involved in this fantastic competition. Thank you for your time, and I'll be here if you need me.
Thank you very much, Debbie. That was brilliant. And really, yeah, as Debbie said, the skills that that students will gain by taking part, I mean, really, it's fantastic. And it doesn't have to be and this amazing, groundbreaking, incredible idea. It can be small, it can be big, it can be anything you want it to be. So, yeah, thank you so much, Debbie. Dr. Claire, I will pass over to you.
Okay, so good morning, students and teachers. I think that the important aspect that we have to think about is that we are here in the Caribbean and there are so many wonderful things outside that you can use for science. I am in Barbados and we have lovely beaches. We have our forests, we have our gullies, we have places that you can go out and you can find an idea. Things like looking at trees, looking at animals, looking at places that have changed. We have Miss Hilton, who is in Jamaica, and Jamaica has many wonderful outdoor spaces. I have visited Jamaica many times, which you can use to think of an idea for the competition. Science is something that is really, really useful for our everyday lives. And by being involved in science and doing something that is really outdoorsy, it is going to bring the subject to life. So that little biology that you learn, something about water, something about how plants work, something about how animals eat and live, all of those things you can bring into your project and use the outdoors. All of the ministries of the environment and ministries of agriculture in your individual countries have lots of information. And I know you as students, if you call up or you go to the Ministry of Education or Agriculture or Ministry of Environment and you say, well, I want to enter competition. Do you have any information here that can help me? Or do you have anything that is going on that I can go and visit beforehand? I am sure that all of the officers in the ministry are going to say, yes, we are going to help these students that want to go out and learn something, and they are going to put all their resources at your disposal. We know when we talk about United Nations development goals and climate action, you say to yourself, well, that's something like far away. I do not know what that really means for me. That means that in your own country, you can make a difference in doing something. One person, two people, three people together in your little team, you can think of something that can impact the climate. I always use the reference that you are a big person. We in the Caribbean, we are familiar with mosquitoes. If you are lying down quiet and a little mosquito who is just a millionth of your size, if he comes around and he starts buzzing and he starts at your face and then he goes around, he makes that little one, he is going to affect you because you're going to get up and say, well, I have to get rid of him. He's a million times smaller than me, but he is bothering me so much. So he is making an impact. So never think that your little project with your little friends or your colleagues cannot make an impact. You can make an impact. And yes, you can reach out to us and you can get information in order to support you. But in your country, you have people who can support you. You call up any institute, you call up the university, you say, I am a student and I want to be involved in science and I need some help. I am entering the Macmillan Young Caribbean Scientist of the Year and I want my project to be a winning project and I need your assistance. And I am telling you that all those people in the ministry are going to spring into action to help you and to help you with your project. Some countries, Jamaica, Barbados, some places are remote and you might not be able to visit. So you have to think of something that you can visit or that you can get together with. So I know that young people now that you have lots of ideas, you are accustomed using the internet, you are accustomed to Googling everything and finding out what is going on. We don't want you to use something from somewhere that is far away. You can use something from your country. So use the science, use your local resources, the people who are there. Use us, come to us and ask your questions, and we will be able to guide you in finding a lovely climate action project, a lovely youth in action project, a lovely project that is really going to make an impact and use the outdoors to develop and create your project. And I know that you all have lots of ideas. You spend lots of time playing video games and all of these, other things. Use that same skill and use that same time and effort in looking to your outdoors to get a lovely climate action project so that you can be the Young Environmental Scientist of the Year, because that is going to be a real prestigious title. And you know that your friends are going to say, oh, look, that one won that little competition, and I want to know what it's all about. I want to know what Macmillan is all about. Macmillan is a publisher that makes excellent textbooks. I want to know more about that. And I know that everybody likes posing on social media, so you will have a little something on your frames, and you have the ability to do it. So I encourage you to use the resources out there and find something. Nothing is too small, nothing is too insignificant that you cannot go ahead and present your project and be the winner of the Young Caribbean Environmental Scientist of the Year. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Claire. I really love that analogy of the mosquitoes as well. That's such a good point. Yeah, really anything that anyone can do. I mean, it's such a big issue and it can seem like a mammoth thing that we need to tackle, but really anything is better than nothing. So really, yeah, do get involved, and we have lots of amazing prizes that you can win as well, and some of those prizes are STEM builder kits, which Cavell, her company, makes. And I will pass on to Cavell now to talk a bit about the competition and her fantastic kits, which you would be in the chance for winning if you enter. So I will pass on to Cavell. Thank you, Dr. Claire. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. So yes, I'm Cavell, and I just want to say that this is just such an amazing competition, with the opportunity for you to not just learn the science, but be able to apply it and in a real life context using the resources that you have available. And that's what I love so much about this competition, is that you're able to use the resources that are available. And at the end of it, you're able to work like a real scientist. So I really love this competition, and I do believe that climate change requires climate action. And as island states, we know that we are very much impacted by climate change. And so this is an opportunity for us to observe what is happening in our environment. Dr. Claire mentioned about the gullies and the rivers that we have in our islands and things that are happening around us. Our beaches sometimes are disappearing and things like that is happening. How can we make a change? How can we use this project to really make an impact? And so I want to also share with you some of the exciting prizes, because a part of the competition is for you to think about why do you want to win? Why do you want to win this competition, right? And so apart from the prizes, what impact do you want to make? And so I'm going to be sharing with you some of the exciting things that you will gain from participating in this competition. In addition to the prizes, of course, you will have the opportunity to learn so much, being able to apply the knowledge that you're learning at school and being able to really make a difference. But of course, Dr. Claire and Ms. Roberts also mentioned the impact that it will have on you as an individual, and the fact that you'll also have that bragging rights to say that you are the Environmental Scientist of the Year. So let's look at some of the prizes. So STEM Builders Learning Hub, we are preparing future scientists and engineers, and we're an online learning platform in the education technology industry that offers a variety of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics STEM products and programs. Right? What we do, we match STEM tutors with students, and we also customize a variety of STEM kits or science boxes. Our mission is really to create a rebirth of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, not just in Jamaica, but across the Caribbean. So we know a lot of times that our children are not so exposed to hands-on STEM learning. And this is one of the reasons this competition is so important, because it's giving students an opportunity to do just that. Now, for Macmillan, you will win a half day of hands-on science with me. And that will entail a lot of interesting and exciting activities. In addition to that, you win a class set of 5 STEM builder kits for your class, right, and school. And this is what this looks like. So here we have a young scientist and he's looking at all the activities in the box. You can also win a science box, like a physics box, a biology box, a chemistry box, right? So all of these things are available. And of course, the exciting activities that you will participate in, and that will be exciting equipment and materials that will be in the box. So this is me doing a volcano experiment, right? So that is it in terms of the prizes and awards. So a half day of science activities with me. And of course, all our exciting science kits that you will be able to actually carry out even more experiments and have fun at home or at school doing those activities. So again, I think my fellow judges have all gone through extensively in terms of what the competition is all about, eligibility of the competition, how to be eligible for the competition, and also what are some of the exciting things that you will learn and take away from the competition. So I definitely just want to continue to encourage you to be a part of it and to participate, and also for you to just take something away from it. As Dr. Claire mentioned, use some of the things that are around you, use activities that are around you. It doesn't matter what your idea is about, no matter how small or large your idea is, that you can actually utilize it and think about how you can. I love the idea of, coming up even with a budget for the competition, and thinking about how feasible it is, right, and applicable in your situation or in your island. So that's all I want to say for that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Cavell. I love your STEM Builder kits. I think they're so brilliant, and they come with, they give you everything that you need, really. So, and those are part of our prizes that you could win. So in primary and secondary categories. So do have a look at those on our website and on Cavell's page as well, if you haven't already. And I think what I think was mentioned earlier about teachers, obviously you're all so busy, and you might think, I don't have time to do this. And you can, if you've done something like this before, and you've already come up with a project, or it might have been in the past that you've already covered this in your school, you can enter that as an idea. It doesn't have to be something new. It doesn't have to be something that you've come up with now or recently. It can be something that you've come up with before. It doesn't have to be new. So yeah, really, I'm just putting that out there. And I know that everyone's so busy, and I don't know if anyone's got any sort of encouragement or thoughts on how really teachers can sort of work this around their busy schedules. I know that Claire, you were saying that really encouraging people to go out and use the environment around them, which I think is a great idea. So I don't know if anyone's got sort of words of encouragement there, because I know that our teachers are really busy.
Yeah,
so go on,
yeah,
Claire.
that's why I suggested, using the persons there in the ministry, the university. Many Caribbean countries, they have institutes, say like here in Barbados, we have United Nations offices, who are there. Say like in the UNEP, they have an office here. In Jamaica, Miss Hilton will tell you that there's a University of the West Indies. You have the University of, Technology. You have many institutions that you can call, who have resources, who have persons there who I know will spring into action when the students call and say, well, I want to enter this competition and I need some help. So even the teachers themselves, you do not have to take the complete burden. Use the institutions in your country, because they have lots of technical experts who are working there, who have a lot of resources. And I am certain that those experts are going to spring into action They're going to say, yes, you come and let me help you, and let me help you and your teacher, because many of them will have resources that they might not be using for the schools because they might not have received requests. So use the institutions in your country to help you. All of the Caribbean islands, all of the small island developing states now, we understand that climate change is at our doorstep, and we are living it every day with, the heat waves and the droughts and the change in the sea level. We are living it every day, and there are persons, in the different institutions who will be able to help the teachers and will be able to use their resources to help the students. So call, just call them up and say, you are a student and you want assistance, and I know that they will help you, because we in the Caribbean, we know that our people are our resources, and they are going to spring into action. They will not say no to, so use them.
I was going to say that all the resources we're pushing for inquiry-based teaching and learning, where the students are responsible and in control of their learning. And often that's difficult because not all teachers have been trained, and so it is a little bit daunting to implement this. But this competition is actually a brilliant opportunity. We are busy, teachers are busy people. But this competition is not for the teacher, it's for the students. And this is an opportunity where teachers can say to groups of students, come up with an idea. You come up with the idea, you research it, you write it down, you record it if you don't want to write it down. But it's about the students driving this. And often in the classroom, we don't have this opportunity, but this is an ideal opportunity to actually let the students take control and take leadership of their project. Yes, it has to be supervised by an adult. And as Dr. Durant said, you've got a fantastic environment. You can carry things like this out in the student's own time outside of school. It doesn't have to be limited and restricted to the classroom, which means that parents, older siblings, younger siblings can be involved in this collecting of data or the implementation of this fantastic project, which then spreads like a domino effect. It spreads the awareness of the problems that climate change is causing us at the moment. The more people from the community that are involved, the more people are introduced to this. So my advice would be, trust the students, let the students take control, just supervise it.
I also want to add that doing the research is also a part of it. And as Miss Roberts mentioned, that let the students lead that aspect of it. And you can take this in stages, even though we don't have a lot of time left, because you will have to be ready by March. However, you can start by just giving the students a project to do some research. And from the results of that research, then you can decide, okay, let's as a class decide which project we think can be the best project for us to move forward in this competition. So I think for me as a teacher as well, is to think about ways to not make this be necessarily additional work, but a way for my students to be able to learn and to apply the skills. We know that the scientific process and the engineering process are all a part of the syllabus that we have to complete. And so this is an opportunity when the students are actually completing that aspect for you to say to them, okay, what are the steps and how can we apply it? How can we use this project to actually teach this, right? So think about it like that. There are also other objectives in terms of the SDGs, and these are things that are part of what it is that we have to accomplish as teachers in our classroom. So for me, I love this competition because it's not additional work. It's an opportunity for you to utilize and to be able to apply what you are already teaching in the classroom. So don't think of it as additional work, guys. It's just an opportunity for the students to apply the knowledge that you are already teaching. And I would just take it in stages. Start with the research, select the topic, and then have the students work through the scientific and engineering process to create their prototype. You can even have them create several different prototypes, and then they themselves can judge and select which ones. This is a fantastic idea to really bring your classroom to life and to really have that sort of real life hands-on problem solving learning that we are encouraging in the classroom.
Thank you, Cavell. Does anybody have any questions at this point? I've just seen a question in the chat box, so I've just responded to that. All of the information, so the rules, how to enter, the criteria, the prizes available, all of the information can be found on our website through the link that I just shared in the chat, and this will be shared with everybody after the session as well. And there's also, thinking of drawing on what everyone was saying about it not being additional work, there's loads of ideas on our social media channels about what kind of projects that you can do, and even myself looking through some of our books, I've seen that there's ideas that in those and in any sort of science book that you pick up, I'm sure that there will be inspiration in there. And when we've got all of this information at our fingertips, really, yeah, there's tons of ideas out there. So do have a look at that, and do have a look at our social media channels. And Debbie has done a lovely blog for us on our website as well. And Claire and Debbie have also shared some tips on a video as well. So have a look at those. And on our Instagram page, we've got lots of fun things on there as well. Does anybody have any questions at this point? There's none in the chat. I don't know if anybody would like to turn their camera or their microphone on. You don't have to, and it can be scary, but if you don't feel comfortable, do ask a question in the chat box.
I was just thinking, in the Mission Science and the Discover Science books, there are actually projects in there. So that could be a starting point. And I can think of several that are very directly linked to the Caribbean environment. It just occurred to me that if you're absolutely lost, it might just inspire. It just occurred to me that they're there already. Not giving anything away or anything.
Wow. And the Mission Science books are also part of the prizes for the primary category as well. So if you enter and you win, you will be awarded with Mission Science books for your class. So do have a go. And we've got 2 months tomorrow until entries close. So if you haven't entered already, do have a look on our website on how to enter, and register your team and send us your entry before the 31st of March. Do any of the judges have anything that you would like to add before we close in a couple of minutes?
Well, I would definitely want to add, just how exciting this is, and also, the opportunity that students and teachers and their school, by extension, will have by, participating in this competition and winning those Mission Science books, as well as the STEM kits with all the materials and resources for them to continue their learning. So I definitely want to add that to the pot. And I just want to wish everyone good luck as well. And I'm looking forward to seeing all the creative ideas, because I know when we allow our students to think, they are very creative in coming up with ideas that, as teachers ourselves, we may not even think about. And so even though there are ideas out there, just think about how you can, make an extension of that, or make it a little more innovative and original when you submit your entries. So definitely want to leave that as well. Thank you.
Okay, I think we will close the session here. It's just about 1:45. thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. Hope that you found this useful, and we've had one question, so I'm hoping that means that we've given everyone enough information that they need. So if you haven't, if you're watching this as a recording and you couldn't join us today, or if you think of something after the session, do get in touch with us via email or via our social media channels, and we would be more than happy to help. And as Debbie said, the judges would be willing to provide support too. So it doesn't end here, so do send us your questions if you have any. Thank you so much to our lovely judges for joining us today. It's lovely to see everyone together. Thank you so much. And there's loads of information on our website and loads of support on our social media channels, so have a look at those if you haven't already. Please do send us your entries. We can't wait to see them. I can't wait to see them. And yeah, do as much research as you can, and really this is a fantastic opportunity for everyone involved. So and we can't wait to see everyone's entries. So please do send them in. And thank you so much to everybody that's joined us today. And hopefully we will be speaking to you very soon. And thank you to our lovely judges once again. I'm just going to close the session. So thank you very much, everyone, and I will speak to you soon.